Okay, so this is the last part of the series of our child studio session edit from start to finish. My last step, I'm going to go through and just check her skin. The little girl had a slight cold. Towards the end of the session, she was a little bit done, started to get a little bit of a runny nose. I want to go through and just kind of touch that up before I deliver these to mom. So I'm going to come to the picture, and I don't want to be on fit because I want to get a little closer. So on the Navigator screen, I'm going to select maybe a 3:1. You could do 4:1 if you want a little bit closer. That's about where I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to just move around my Navigator screen until I get a little bit up close to her. So what I'm going to do next, the first part of the session, the runny nose wasn't terrible. I'm still going to paint a little clarity, a little skin softening right underneath the nose. I'm going to come over to the adjustment brush, and I'm going to, under the effect, you're going to select Skin Soften. And you're going to adjust your brush size. Remember, keep your feather up so it blends. I'm going to come over here and just brush on a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of quickly come through those pictures and just brush on that. Just anything you see that might need a little bit of softening. Now this is something you probably shouldn't spend a whole bunch of time doing this. So I'll give you an example of when you would spend a lot of time doing a skin edit. So for example, your customer comes to you and they want to print something that's, say, a 16 by 20 or a 20 by 20. So let me backtrack there. So whenever I painted that on, I could tell that was a little too much. I'm just going to hit edit and undo brush stroke. There. Okay, so let me go back to skin softening. So I always do a basic correction for all of my clients. Whenever someone is coming in and they're wanting to do something, a bigger print for the wall, you're going to do more of an in-depth skin softening. And I'll have some more tutorials about how to do that in-depth skin softening. So just kind of keep that in mind though. But we definitely want this presentation mode and, you know, even print mode. You know, what if mom wants to print out some 5x7s, things like that. We don't want, you know, we don't want any eyesores in the picture. That's kind of why I come through and do that. And then keep in mind, right now I'm just doing skin softening. I'm going to come back through with that heal tool if I see a couple spots that might need the heal. Just remember to move your Navigator and brush tool. So as you can see, this is just, it's a pretty simple process. It's nothing, just takes a little time, but this isn't a step that we should skip if we have a little bit of cleaning up to do. So one of the goals whenever we're editing is to keep our turnaround time as low as possible for the customer, but still have the very best edit. Edit as an example, see how here we were towards the end and her nose was really kind of running. I would not want to deliver that without fixing it. And then while I'll just talk a little bit too about while I'm editing this too. Not to get into pricing too much during the editing sessions, but keep in mind whenever you're whenever you're coming up with your pricing, you kind of will want to allow for all of this in your pricing. You know, say for example, if you're offering a $35 shoot, you spend half an hour shooting it, and then you're doing a pretty extensive edit, even though it's not hard, but it takes some time. But then you spend 45 minutes editing, and that's just kind of the nature of the deal with children. You don't know if they're going to have a runny nose or a scratch that needs fixed. But that's just something you kind of want to be mindful of whenever you're thinking of your pricing. To just kind of you know, allow for that edit in the pricing. In other words, don't do cheaper sessions and just hand them over. If you have to charge a little more to make them look nice, your customer actually will appreciate that in the end. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to use our heel tool. Bring that down in size because we still have a couple spots that the clarity was great, but didn't quite get it looking exactly how I wanted it to. So I'm going to come and use that heel tool. The heel tool in Lightroom, I have found it's really good. It's pretty accurate. It almost always picks up at the right spot. And it's actually a tool I use a good bit. All right, so you can see right there how much we cleaned up that little girl's face. Mom's never gonna know, when she looks back at the picture, Mom's never gonna know that she probably didn't feel good and was crying and had a runny nose at the end. She is going to, she's gonna look back and she's gonna see this nice skin that we've cleaned up and the enhancements that we've did to the pictures. All right, so see that heel tool right there? That didn't quite pick up at the right spot. I'm just gonna move that around. See how that blends it? And let's get her little nose right there too. All right, guys, so I'm gonna continue on doing these to the rest of the pictures. But I just can't kind of accent enough that you definitely want to have all this cleaned up for Mom before she views the pictures. See right there, that didn't quite pick up, so I'm just going to move that around to where I'm happy with it. So I'm not real happy with how that looks. That's looking kind of fake. So I'm just going to do one dot. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. And just kind of come down here for a couple other little tiny spots I see. So guys, when we're doing this, you can kind of see just how important this step is. These are here looking kind of bright to me, so I might just grab those too. I'm going to back this one up just a little bit, and that brings me to something else in mind that I'm going to talk about. So see the little red spot here? I photographed this little girl quite a few times. I know that's a birthmark because I asked Mom the first session. I have found typically parents don't really want you editing out birthmarks. I always ask if I'm unsure. So that's just kind of one little tip there to keep in mind whenever you're editing photos of children. So this one here is going to take a little more detail work. I'm going to pull this in a little closer. I'm going to come back to 4:1. It's definitely going to take a little more work to blend. There we go. Not as bad as I thought. Should pull that down just a little bit. Then maybe, nope, actually I'm not happy with that. So I'm just going to hit delete. And you know, sometimes if you're working on a picture and it's just not getting there, it's okay to take it out of the collection. Now, if it's like one of the only shots you have with a great smile, take the time to work on it. If you've got other stuff to pick from, don't necessarily spend 30 minutes trying to make one picture up to par, unless it's, like I said, unless it's the best shot from the session. And keep in mind too, I'm scrolling these in real tight to kind of see what's going on. I might even be getting a couple little details here that you wouldn't even notice because I'm coming in so close, but I mean, that's okay. So now we're getting to the ones where there's really not a lot to edit because at this point, the runny nose hadn't quite started. My memory's correct, most of these up here should probably not be too bad at all.